Imagine this: a teenager scrolling through Instagram surrounded by hundreds of friends online, yet feeling more alone than ever. It's a paradox, isn't it? We live in a world where teens are more connected than ever, yet studies show they're also reporting higher levels of anxiety, depression, and loneliness. The question is, why? Is social media, the very tool designed to bring us closer, actually pulling teens away from true happiness? How did a space meant for sharing and connection become a breeding ground for insecurity and mental health struggles? And most importantly, what does science say about the real impact of these platforms on young minds? Today, we'll explore the psychological truths behind these questions, relying on real data and expert opinions. Recent research has sparked widespread concern. The rise in social media usage among teens seems to coincide with a troubling decline in their overall well-being. From the constant buzz of notifications to the pressure of maintaining a flawless online persona, social media platforms offer connection, but at a potential cost. Teens are exposed to intense social pressures and a constant comparison with others. Understanding the true impact of social media on teen happiness requires digging deep into these psychological realities, truths that are sometimes unsettling but crucial to face. Social media platforms like Instagram, TikTok, and Snapchat are designed to be addictive. But what makes them so irresistible, especially to teenagers? The answer lies in the brain's reward system and the powerful psychological pull of instant gratification. When teens receive a like, a follow, or a comment, their brains release dopamine, a neurotransmitter associated with pleasure and reward. This surge of dopamine creates a feeling of happiness, albeit fleeting, which encourages them to keep engaging with the platform. Over time, this leads to a cycle of seeking validation through social media, where the brain starts to crave that next hit of dopamine. This phenomenon isn't just anecdotal. Research shows that the brain's reward circuits are particularly sensitive during adolescence, making teens more vulnerable to the allure of social media. Social media platforms are built around the concept of social validation. Each post, comment, or share becomes a bid for approval from peers. For teens whose sense of identity and self-worth is still developing, this can be particularly powerful. The more likes or positive comments they receive, the more their self-esteem seems to grow. However, the flip side is just as potent. A lack of engagement or negative feedback can lead to feelings of inadequacy or rejection, triggering a negative emotional response. Another factor contributing to social media's appeal is the illusion of connection. Teens may feel that they're constantly in touch with their friends, but the interactions are often superficial. Unlike face-to-face communication, which involves deep emotional exchanges, social media interactions are brief and often devoid of meaningful connection. Despite this, the brain interprets these interactions as social bonding, reinforcing the behavior and leading teens to spend more time online in search of that elusive sense of belonging. While social media offers entertainment and connection, it's increasingly clear that these platforms also come with a darker side, particularly for teenagers. Recent studies have drawn a troubling connection between heavy social media use and increased rates of anxiety, depression, and loneliness among teens. One of the most concerning findings in recent research is the link between social media use and rising levels of anxiety and depression among teens. A study published in the journal JAMA Psychiatry found that adolescents who spend more than 3 hours per day on social media are at a higher risk of mental health issues. The constant exposure to idealized images and the pressure to present a perfect life can lead to feelings of inadequacy and low self-esteem, which are known triggers for anxiety and depression. Moreover, the always-on nature of social media means that teens are constantly bombarded with information, which can overwhelm their still developing brains and exacerbate feelings of stress. It's ironic, but the platforms designed to connect us are often the ones making teens feel more isolated. Social media can create a false sense of companionship, leading to what psychologists call social snacking, quick, superficial interactions that lack the depth and emotional connection of face-to-face communication. Over time, this can contribute to a sense of loneliness, as teens may begin to feel that their online connections are shallow and unsatisfying. Research from the American Psychological Association highlights that teens who spend more time on social media are more likely to report feelings of loneliness, even when they have a large online network. Consider the case of Sarah, a high school student who found herself trapped in a cycle of anxiety and loneliness after becoming overly involved in social media. Her experience is not unique. Dr. John Tweng, a psychologist and researcher, notes that the rise of social media correlates with a sharp increase in mental health issues among teens, especially those born after 1995. These insights are supported by large-scale studies showing that teens today are more anxious and less happy compared to previous generations, a trend that aligns closely with the advent of smartphones and social media. In the digital age, teens are not just living their lives, they're performing them. The pressure to maintain a flawless online image has become a significant source of stress, as social media platforms encourage constant comparison and the pursuit of an idealized life. One of the most pervasive aspects of social media is the endless opportunity for social comparison. Teens are constantly exposed to the highlight reels of others' lives, where everyone seems to be happier, more successful, and better looking. This can lead to a distorted view of reality as teens compare their own lives, flawed and messy, as real life tends to be, with the curated, filtered versions they see online. Research shows that frequent social comparison on social media is linked to lower self-esteem and higher levels of envy, which can contribute to feelings of inadequacy and depression. Another psychological phenomenon exacerbated by social media is FOMO, the fear of missing out. Teens scrolling through feeds filled with photos of parties, vacations, and other seemingly perfect experiences can feel left out, even if they had no interest in attending. This constant fear of missing something important can lead to increased anxiety and compulsive checking of social media accounts, as teens strive to stay connected and relevant. Influencers, with their polished content and seemingly perfect lives, set unrealistic standards that many teens feel compelled to meet. This can result in an endless cycle of trying to emulate these figures, whether through fashion, beauty, or lifestyle choices, often leading to dissatisfaction and stress when the reality doesn't measure up to the fantasy. The impact of influencers is particularly strong because they often appear relatable, blurring the lines between aspiration and reality. The pressure to perform on social media can be overwhelming, leaving teens feeling like they must constantly measure up to an impossible standard. This ongoing comparison and the fear of being left out can take a significant toll on their mental health, contributing to the broader issue of social media's impact on their happiness. What can be done? We've explored the psychological allure of social media, the dark side that affects teen mental health, and the pressure to perform in a digital world. It's clear that while social media can offer benefits, its impact on teen happiness is complex and often concerning. Parents and teens can work together to set boundaries on social media use, prioritize real-life connections, and be mindful of the content consumed. By focusing on balance, we can help teens navigate the digital world more healthily. If you found this video insightful, please subscribe for more content on mental health and well-being. Share your thoughts in the comments. How has social media affected your happiness?